Welcome back, everyone. Information from a leaked memo showing how President Obama's administration is planning a massive land grab to designate more than 13 million acres of resource-rich land across 11 states as federally controlled national monuments.
Now those states are banding together to protect their land and fight back. Utah Congressman Rob Bishop is chairman of the Congressional Western Caucus and a ranking member of the House Natural Resource Subcommittee on Public Land. Representative, you get this news, but you're not going to take it sitting down. You've taken action. What have you done?
Well, we have made sure that, first of all, we've outed the situation to make sure that it's public. And we've got a commitment from the administration that at least on this time that they are going to do anything, that they will do it in a public way and do a better process. But we've also introduced some legislation to try and reform the process in the future to make it more open so that states have some say in what happens in their own states.
Right, because, Congressman, you argue that in this case they have way too much power. Here's your other allegation. Are you saying that environmentalists are in bed with the administration and that they say they want to put up national monuments, but in fact they want to keep land away from being able to be refined for resources?
That's one of the concerns that we have. In fact, if you take this land and you change it from the multiple use it's used for now, maximum benefit for Americans, and put it into a monument status, it's much more restrictive, and much of that land does have energy potential. So I don't want to ascribe motives, but it is one of those things that's feared.
Hey, I want you to take a look right now at the difference here. We have a little map put together of a land owned by the federal government, and that is in red, and that is out west. That is a lot of land. Is that part of the reason why you've put together the creation of the 10th Amendment Task Force to get some power back to the states?
Kind of makes an interesting comment on the idea of equal footing for all states. But yeah, the problem is that the western states have almost half of the land owned by the federal government. Nationwide, 1 out of every 3 acres is owned by the federal government. That's not the way it was intended to be originally. And that's one of the reasons why we are very sensitive to how the federal government wants to designate land and what purposes. We think land should be used to benefit the maximum amount of American citizens. Monument status does not do that.
All right, it's a very interesting argument. Obviously, those western states, the largest source of energy resources. So very interesting discussion. Congressman Bob Bishop, Republican of Utah, thanks for being our guest.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so that's the big announcement, the creation of the 10th Amendment Task Force. Meanwhile, the president hands out a deadline for Dems to deliver health care reform, but some Dems say that's not helping.